Try it again now. How's the sound working now? When I go back and look at the videos, it looks like the sound is fine, so I'm not sure what's happening over there. We're going to continue. If it doesn't work, I will just repost this video from TikTok over to YouTube later today. You can always join me on TikTok and the other platforms. So hypertension is the number one way that you can tell that you have insulin resistance. Again, that's 130/80 or higher. Okay. That means that many of you are out there going, yeah, my blood pressure is not that bad. And it is. And it is. So if it's 130/80 or higher, that means you're already starting to develop an insulin problem, and you should pay attention to it while it's still only 130/80. Don't think that it's something you can ignore and just go by with. Yesterday, and that video is up on YouTube now, I talked about skin tags and acanthosis or acanthosis nigricans. So those little mushroom-like projections on your skin and the dark spots on your elbows, knees, and your groin, under your arms. Those are all ways that you can tell that you're insulin resistant. So the first one, you can tell so blue-eyed girl, the 80, the diastolic one is probably where you're starting to run into trouble. The systolic, you'll notice, the top number will change a lot. That bottom number, once it starts hitting that 80 range, yeah, that's a problem. And remember, come back at 3 p.m. because I'm going to give you a number of tests that you can ask for or do for yourself according to the lab results you already have to be able to tell if you're insulin resistant. Okay. So top one is your blood pressure. You're usually lower. And that can happen, blue-eyed girl. Sometimes with insulin resistance, blood pressure can go low. Maybe 20% of people around there can have a low blood pressure instead of a high blood pressure. For the majority of us, high blood pressure, hypertension is one of the first ways we're going to notice that we're insulin resistant. Yesterday, I talked a lot about acanthosis nigricans, those dark skin patches. So whether it's around your neck, elbows, knees, that is a primary way that your body is saying, help me, because now you have this insulin dysregulation going on and it's causing this discoloration in your skin. Your skin is your early warning system. So if you're starting to see that go on, that means that you are being told that you have an issue and you need to start paying attention to it. But the last two of the top 5 ways are PCOS and erectile dysfunction, fertility issues. Almost all fertility issues are resultant of insulin resistance. There are some that don't. I'm not saying any absolutes, but the majority of them start with insulin resistance. If you've started having skin tags, that is a way. So remember, you can go back and watch the full video yesterday, but what's happening is your skin is overproducing something called keratinocytes, which are causing this excess growth of skin. That excess growth is caused by a growth hormone dysregulation along with insulin dysregulation, because insulin is anabolic. It wants things to grow. And so now you have these skin tags. Okay, that's the primary reason for skin tags. And just getting your insulin resistance under control will help them go away. So understand that. Now, I had skin tags on my neck, I was starting to get them on my eyes. I had lots of them under my arms and, embarrassingly enough, in my groin area. And I just thought that it was part of getting older. I just thought, I'm about to be a grandma. This is what it is. I don't have any now. I have none. We're going to talk about how I did that. We're going to talk about how you guys can do that too, and how insulin resistance is going to help you get over all of these things that we just showed earlier, right? So all of these issues are rooted in or very highly linked to insulin resistance. If you're suffering with any of them and you're just being given pills and injections, know that that's not, we want to get this down here. We want to get the insulin under control so those things will get better. Okay. So there we go. Back to it. All right. So now we had the top 5: hypertension, skin tags, acanthosis nigricans, PCOS, erectile dysfunction. Any of these issues you guys want to have me talk about in my 3:00 live where I go into science, let me know. I'm more than happy to cover them for you. but some other ways that you can tell that you're insulin resistant. So maybe people will say, I don't have PCOS, you haven't been diagnosed. Oh, by the way, let me stop a second. Does anybody have a guess? I've already mentioned it multiple times, but does anybody have a guess as to what the top disorder that we're suffering with today is that's going undiagnosed? Does anybody have a guess what that disorder is that's creating havoc in people's lives that's largely undiagnosed so far? It's insulin resistance, you guys. It's insulin resistance. And if we were able to diagnose the insulin resistance, then all of these other things would start to get better. So, one of the other ways you can tell visibly that you're having some insulin resistance is if your belly is bulging, like you're pregnant, whether you're fat or thin, young or old, man or woman, that belly bulge is coming from something called visceral fat. That visceral fat is fat that's brown fat. It has a lot of mitochondria working, heating up stuff that's going on, and it's under the muscle wall of your belly because visceral fat is supposed to be there to protect our organs, to warm our organs, to keep us functioning, to keep all of them in a protected environment. But with insulin resistance, it's cueing our brain to produce more of this insulin or this visceral fat going on. And so now you have this pressure coming from the outside or from the inside out, and your belly starts to bulge. How long does this take to work on neuropathy? Mary Kit, I had neuropathy and edema so bad that I couldn't wear normal shoes, was buying diabetic foot socks, didn't like to get up and walk because it was painful. All right. Within the first 3 months, that was markedly better. I don't suffer from it anymore. The edema, the neuropathy, I don't have any of that. So it depends on the person and how good you are with following the issues that I'm talking about and following the recommendations, then it will vary. But most people see it within the first 3 months. By the way, the protocol I'm going to talk about has a 90-day money back guarantee. A number of these things are going to start to show improvement in that first 90 days. So give it 90 days because it's a real solution, not medication. So vitamin D deficiency, your vitamin D is good. Not sure where those are coming from, guys. We're going to talk about that, but vitamin D absolutely plays a role in your metabolism. Guess what? With insulin resistance, you're more likely to have vitamin D levels that are off. Listening to guys like Dr. Berg, off the chain now, we're not getting in near enough vitamin D. Most of us are vitamin D deficient. I'm answering some questions over on YouTube, but you guys, it's a great part because we're not outside anymore. One of the ways you can get your vitamin D back up is spend more time outside. When all these guys say get out in the sunlight in the morning, do that. Layla says, new here, insulin resistant, eating high protein diet, and then staying away from all sugars together except fruit. Layla, fruit is high in fructose, okay, causes a load on your liver that causes you to hold on to more of this fat and fat in your liver especially. So I love fruit. We're going to talk about some fruits that you can eat, but overdoing fruit can actually push you into insulin resistance and diabetes as well, depending on your metabolism and your genetic type, right? So you guys, I love fruit. I'm not damning fruit, but I think we overeat it, and that's a problem. Okay, so back to this list. So everybody understand bulging belly is actually happening because you're storing fat in your belly because insulin is too high and it's disrupting. Now, you're going to start to put fat on in all the jiggly areas too when you're insulin resistant, but that bulging belly is a hallmark. And remember, I said whether you're thin or heavy, if your belly is starting to bulge, that's a huge clue that you have some insulin resistance going on. So if that's you, you're not pregnant, you better take a look at your insulin levels. Okay, so then we want to talk about high triglycerides and low HDL. So I'm going to give you one of the calculations this morning. If you have your labs, your annual labs, pull them out, just jot these numbers down, and take a look at your labs later and let me know what your numbers come out to be. But a high triglyceride level and a low HDL level, those two things are hallmark of insulin resistance. And maybe I should do a talk on that sometime again soon, because it's been a while since I've done that. But what's really happening is it's your sugars causing that imbalance in your cholesterol panel. So get your pen and paper out, because we're going to give you this calculation, and then we're going to give you that calculation so you can write it down and do it later. All right. So I want you to take your triglyceride number and write it down. I want you to write your HDL number down, and I want you to ignore your LDL. Yeah, you can. So I'm going to give you this calculation, Rita. And so I want you to use the calculation, because even if those numbers look normal, if you're a woman, your HDL should be over 50. So I'm not sure where you're calling normal, but your HDL needs to be over 50 if you're a woman, over 40 if you're a man. But you need to pay attention to those numbers. So they can look normal overall, but if the balance of them is off, that's a clue that there's insulin resistance going on. So triglyceride number divided by your HDL is going to give you a resultant number, somewhere probably between 1.5 if you're healthy. But once it starts to get to 2, HDL is, wow, that's a very different calculation, Tita. So according to those calculations, maybe not. Tell me what makes you concerned that you may be insulin resistant, and let's see if we can filter some of that out. But again, the resulting number for most people is going to be around 1.5 if you're healthy and not having an insulin problem. When it hits 2, now we're starting to say that the NIH says 2 is still healthy, but that's kind of the breaking point. Once you get to 3 for that score, you have an insulin problem, deal with it. So what it's talking about is actually not your triglycerides or your HDL. What that number shows us is what your LDL balance is. So you have lower pain in the right side of your abdomen. I don't know. You guys, I'm not a physician. I'm not a nutritionist. I am a normal person who suffered with insulin resistance, started learning about it because it helped me overcome about 20 different disorders and get off of 13 medications addressing the insulin resistance. I can't diagnose anybody. I can give you information that's out there and condense it for you. Okay. So you guys, I'm so appreciative of your interaction over here. All right. So that's one calculation, right? High triglycerides, low HDL is you got to block somebody. There we go. That's an indication. But when you start to look at things like that, you retain water easily, that you're constantly hungry, you're having sugar and salt cravings, you just can't seem to get satiated. Those are big clues that you have an insulin resistance problem. One of the other things that people don't regularly talk about is chronic fatigue. If you're tired all the time, especially after you eat, that's a huge clue that you have insulin resistance. And I'm going to break it down really simply right now. Why this one is a clue? Because with insulin resistance, your body cannot access energy properly. So it's tired. You're continuing to put food in because that's energy, but your body doesn't know how to use it because insulin is impeding the process. And now you have a problem called chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia. Those are clues your body's getting you that you're sick, that something has to be changed. So understand all of those things. Now, if you start to see yourself in multiple of these things, skin tags, acanthosis nigricans, your blood pressure is going up, or your blood pressure is starting to get dysregulated. You have a high triglyceride, low HDL. You maybe have been diagnosed with PCOS, erectile dysfunction, low testosterone, hormonal problems. You retain water easily, you're hungry all the time, and you're fatigued. You start putting those together, that really is adding up to insulin resistance. So Clara, if everything is off, if everything on this list is off, then it's very highly likely that you're insulin resistant. So we're going to go through and I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about what I did, but I want to go over some more of this stuff to help you guys understand. So one of the things that you can do, because I want to get into the answers, you guys. one of the things that you can do, some of the things are this list. So I have an ebook. If you just go to my link in bio, there's a place where you can download this free ebook. That free ebook is going to give you all 6 of these and a couple of bonuses. It's free to you guys. You want to remember it later, just download that ebook, okay? So the first thing you want to do is get fiber first, especially with those fruits. Layla, not sure if you're still here, but if you are, understand that our fruits and vegetables are lower in fiber than they used to be, which means the sugar is dysregulated in our system. I'll explain all of that in a minute. You want to get in fiber first. Every meal, every time you eat, especially with high carbohydrate meals. I get in fiber first every meal, but at least do it when you have a high carbohydrate meal. You want to prioritize protein. You want to fill with fats, healthy fats, things like saturated fats, not the seed oils, not these vegetable oils that are basically toxic waste that we're ingesting as food. So focus on the saturated fats. You want to control your carbohydrate intake, and that means you want to get your carbohydrates from things that grow above ground, that are dark in color, and that are giving you a lot of nutrients. So yeah, fruits can be in there, right? Or a lot of our vegetables can be in there. Where we want to limit are those underground root vegetables. They tend to be higher in starches, which, by the way, starch converts to glucose in your system. So it's a type of sugar, basically, all right? So fiber first, prioritize protein, fill up with healthy fats, limit your carbs, try to stay away from the bagged, boxed, barcoded carbs. Layla, you're doing that. Amazing. Okay, so then you want to do something called watch the clock. You want to do some time-based eating. That means that you want to stop eating all the damn time. We're told to eat every 2 hours. How many of you guys have been told to lose weight by all these fitness experts who don't, by the way, have a degree in metabolism? I'm going by the guys who do have a degree in metabolism. How many of you guys have been told that in order to lose weight, to get your metabolism geared up, that you need to eat every 2 hours? You need to eat small meals, and you need to eat more frequently. It's going to help your muscles. It's going to help your energy. It's going to help your weight loss. That's a lie. It's a lie according to biophysicists and metabolic scientists. That's a lie. We are eating way too often, way too much all the time, and it's making us sick. So watch the clock. I'm going to go over this in a minute. And then simply, you guys, move your body. We all know, there's no pretending about it. We all know that we're not moving like we should be moving, that we're not getting the exercise we should be. Most of us are sitting in a chair just like this all day long, staring at a computer screen, not getting sunlight, not moving our bodies, eating crappy food, and we're sick, and we're like, why? Why am I sick? I don't understand it. Those are all the reasons why. Move your body. It doesn't have to be anything intense. There's tons of good content on YouTube about short bursts of things that you can do to move your whole body, get your blood flow and your lymph flow going, and start to make yourself more insulin sensitive. I'm going to give you another cue. I'm kind of going fast because I get really excited. I get so excited about this stuff. Okay, your legs are going to help you become more insulin sensitive than any other muscle group on your body. So guys, if you're going in and pumping up those biceps, right? We got to have big biceps. That's not helping you get insulin sensitive. Squats, deadlifts, walking, those things, especially walking with weight, like rucksack hiking, that will help you become more insulin sensitive. Those larger muscle groups in the lower body help you get to feeling better sooner. Okay. So, wow. All right. So there's that. So obesity, insulin resistance, high cholesterol, hypertension, and inflammation. These 6 things are going to help with all of those, right? Let's break them back down a little bit. Why fiber first? When we ingest carbohydrates, the thing that stops them, the primary nutrient that stops them from converting into sugar and being delivered through your small intestine into your bloodstream, the thing that slows that down is fiber. But not every fiber is equal, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute, because there's insoluble and soluble fibers. How many of you guys did you know that fiber is not just fiber. That even that gets a little complicated, and there's different types of fiber, and everyone does something different in your body. Has anybody known that? Because that insoluble fiber, what that means is it doesn't soak up water, and it kind of acts like a broom in your intestines. That's what cleans you out, makes you go poop, right? Soluble fibers soak up water and they encapsulate the sugars, slowing down how quickly they enter your bloodstream. Fiber first. A green salad is a good hint, but it's not enough for most of us. And the truth is, with our foods being so deficient in nutrients today, we're not getting in enough fiber even when we're doing that salad before we eat. That's the purpose of salad before your big meal, is to get in fiber so that you can deal with the glucose you're about to ingest. Crazy stuff, right? Now, fiber is found in your carbohydrate foods. So again, you want to focus on the dark green ones if you're having it beforehand, but I'm going to have a solution for that too. When we look at the macronutrients, the big nutrients in our food, it goes like this. It goes protein, fats, and carbohydrates. So prioritize protein is that next thing on the list. And why prioritize protein? Protein is not just an energy source. Protein gives you building blocks. That's what all your muscles are built out of. And remember, your muscles are things like your lungs, your heart, your liver, your intestines, your kidneys. Those are all muscle tissue. It's not just your skeletal muscle. Your body needs protein to do all of this work. So about not quite half of that converts into energy. So protein will spike your insulin a little bit, but only about half as much as carbohydrates do. So that keeps you more insulin sensitive because you're not spiking insulin so high all the time. Protein is giving you building blocks so that your body can do what it needs. So protein gives you building blocks and it gives you energy. And it's not spiking your insulin. And it's keeping you satiated or feeling full. When you focus on protein in your diet, what you're really doing is helping you stay fuller longer, and that's important. Protein is the most satiating out of all of those three macronutrients. The third one on there is actually fill with fat, and I'm talking about things like the cholesterol things that you guys are told no about, like the yolks in your eggs. Stop taking the yolks out of your eggs. Stop buying the leanest cuts of meat. We need that fat. Our brain needs that fat. Our brain needs glucose. Our brain needs fat. Our protein intake requires us to have some fat with it. And there are very good reasons. I'll break that down this afternoon. But I'm talking about fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, butter, and ghee. Those are fats we should be focusing on. And yet, most of us have been told that we should avoid fats, right? So how much protein, bad girl? That's a really good question. Here's a simple calculation. If you're an average age, middle age person, so 30s to 40s, and you're active, you want to get about 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal weight. That doesn't mean that if you're 300 pounds aiming to be 160 pounds, you need to eat 300 grams of protein. That means you eat 160 grams of protein. If you're a little bit older like me and you're not getting as much exercise, then maybe it's 0.8 grams of protein per pound of ideal body weight. If you're a little more active and younger, it's going to go up. But the midline is about 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. You guys, I do have a list. If you message me, I can send you a link to get the list of proteins, whether you're vegan, omnivore, or carnivore, that give you the highest bang for your buck with proteins. So if you guys need that list, just DM me, let me know, and I'll get it to you. So I've got a couple of free resources for you guys. I don't charge anything for them. This 6 simple tips, and the proteins list, okay? So fats. I want you to understand with seed oils, with vegetable oils, there's a lot going on with them. So there's things like they're basically a toxic waste. How many of you guys know that most of these oils were made from the waste of our food to be utilized as a product called machine oil? That's why we use them so much in high cooking situations, because they were actually made to be run in machines and have a high flash point. They're very rancid smelling. They smell horrible. So they get bleached and they get perfume added to them to make them so that you can even think about ingesting them. What? Why not just go back to the oils that we should be using? Extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, butter, ghee, coconut oil. Those are the only oils in my house. Yeah, if you DM me, you guys, I'm live on like 6 different platforms. It's not likely that I'm going to be able to see all the comments. DM me from whatever platform you're in. I will see that and we will get you that list. I can go open it up on my link tree, the link in bio today, so that you guys can access it. Why don't I do that? Check the link in my bio when we're done with this live, and you'll find a link to that proteins list. You'll find a link to the 6 simple steps list. Okay. So control your carbs. Again, avoid bagged, boxed, barcoded carbs. We all know that. Candy bars, cookies, cakes, rice, pasta, all of that stuff. Do you have to get rid of it altogether? No, you don't. You just have to make sure that you're managing it and that the majority of your carbohydrates are coming from dense, crunchy, real food like fruits and vegetables. Okay. But limit them. You're in YouTube. Gotcha. But again, I'm going to have to come back to all these comments later. So just use the link in my bio. I will open it up there in just a little bit. All right, then watch the clock. Let's talk about watch the clock. This is why, and this is what it looks like. When you eat, you're spiking your glucose, right? You're giving your body energy. That's the purpose of us eating. It's not because, ooh, it tastes so good. We're supposed to eat because we're supposed to be fueling our bodies. But it takes about 2 hours after you eat before your glucose levels really start to spike. You see all these guys who are wearing glucose monitors and they're talking about when their glucose spikes, and it's usually at about 2 hours when they measure that. Your glucose is spiking at about 2 hours. When you are not eating anything else, that glucose level will start to drop at about hour 4. Here's the thing. Along with that glucose spike, you've now spiked your insulin. Insulin is a hormone that's a carrier that takes that energy out. So every time you spike your glucose, you're calling on insulin to come transport that energy out of the bloodstream and into the cells. So it takes about 4 hours for that glucose to come down, but you've spiked your insulin. Now, insulin is out there doing its job, being a good little soldier, and what it's doing is saying, they're probably going to eat again. I'm going to stay here because it takes too long for me to get up and rescue them. So I'm going to stay up here. But insulin can take about 8 hours to come back down after you've had your last bite of food. Popcorn, chips, whatever you're eating at night. Okay, so we've got to get insulin down about 8 hours. So let's think about that. If you have dinner at 6 p.m., your insulin doesn't start coming down if you've not eaten anything else until about 2 a.m. That's about 8 hours in. But then what happens is there's 2 hormones that really regulate your metabolism. Insulin, anabolic, it wants things to grow, will not let you burn fat, is encouraging fat storage, and glucagon that wants to eat things up. So glucagon wants to burn fat, get energy back into your bloodstream. It wants to get rid of a lot of toxins out of your body. Insulin starts to drop at hour 8. Your body takes some time to recognize and say, hey, glucagon, time to come out. Now at about hour 10, glucagon is coming out. Okay. So that means that about 4 a.m., again, if your dinner's at 6, before glucagon, the other hormone, is produced from your pancreas. Now all of this happens. Glucagon is now out, and at about hour 6, your digestive system starts to reset. And along with that starts to come out things like growth hormone and ketones. Now, even after they start to come out, it takes a while for your body to recognize them. So a couple of hours later, now we're at hour 14 before growth hormone and ketones can come out and do their job, not be impeded by insulin. And why growth hormone and ketones? Ketones are the thing that are telling you to burn fat for fuel so that your body, your brain can get energy even in the absence of you eating. We're supposed to be doing this, switching between glucose for fuel and fat for fuel. But most of us are running on glucose for fuel all the time. Growth hormone, it helps you grow new tissue. It helps you repair tissue. Has anybody gotten sick when you're diabetic, when you have insulin resistance, and it takes a long damn time to heal? Because your body's never able to use the growth hormone in the way that it's meant to. And guess what also encourages growth hormone? Proteins do. Proteins. What about nuts and berries? Nuts and berries are good. Nuts do have some cholesterol or some glucose in them, so don't use them all the time, and stop thinking they're okay to snack on, because remember, all you're doing is bouncing your insulin up. You're training your body that you're going to eat every couple hours. Now your body's craving food every couple hours. Now you have a negative cycle that's causing more insulin resistance. So there's another one that says, I have a fatty liver, 174 centimeters, and weigh 119 kilograms. You recommend intermittent fasting? If so, how many days a week? According to the scientists like Bickman, Fung, Pradeep, Mindy Pels, all of these guys, yes. Intermittent fasting every single day. We're not meant to eat like we eat now. So we're going to get into intermittent fasting a little bit more this afternoon. It's not about the calorie restriction. It's about the hormones. It's about allowing your hormones to do what they're supposed to do and regulate. Remember, insulin comes out when you have glucose in your body. Every time you eat, you're spiking your sugar, you're spiking your insulin. So how do you get that down? Stop eating all the damn time. 2 big meals a day. You can snack once in a while if you really have to, but every day it should be 2 big meals a day and about 16 hours resting from spiking your insulin and your glucose by fasting. Okay. So then what happens now is that between hours 14 and 16, you're starting to get fat burning going on. Branko, this is where you start losing weight. This is where you start repairing muscle. This is where you start repairing tissue. Okay. Then you eat and break your fast at about hour 16. So dinner was at 6. You've made it till noon the next day. And you're doing well. You're doing much better, right? So Clara says, I crave chocolate or sweets at 12 or 2. Yeah, you do. Your body's set up to do that. So here's another clue, you guys. Your first meal, does anybody know what their first meal should be after your 16-hour fast? Your first meal should be proteins and fats. Proteins don't spike your insulin very much. Fats don't really spike them at all. So some people are calling it a dirty fast. Like, you want to extend that fat burning time, Branko. You want to extend that work that you did in the 16-hour fast. Start off with, like, one of my things that I love is eggs and like no nitrate sausage. Okay. Or there's this great boiled egg recipes all over YouTube where you combine fats with your eggs and some spices. That's a great thing. That's really satiating, really tasty, that extends your fast a little bit, helps you with the growth hormone, helps you with all of that. Hey, Devout Lutheran, it's so good to see you again. Thank you for all the love. So that little bit of protein and fats, and if you're only eating 2 meals a day, your ideal body weight is about 150 pounds and you're extremely active, you're looking to get in 50 to 75 grams of protein in that one meal. So that's probably going to be like 5 boiled eggs. Another clue for you guys, another big tip. If you boil your eggs and then put them in whatever broth first, boil them first. It will help you stay more satiated than frying your eggs. Broth is great, but it's not giving you enough protein, right? Broth is delivering a whole lot of goodness that gives you nutrients. But, so maybe do some boiled eggs, Lily, and put meat broth on them and some spices. It's a great way to start. You could do those eggs with some avocado, some meat broth, It's a great way to start. You're extending the effects of your fasting a little bit longer. You're getting all the other benefits a little bit longer. And then for dinner, if you want rice and pasta, if you want to go have Mexican food, if you want to have Indian food, by the way, my kids and I, we love some Indian food. We don't eat it all the time, but then you can have that little bit higher carbohydrate meal later when you've extended your fast. Okay. But here's the thing, you guys, you could do it the exact opposite too. You could do your higher carbohydrate meal in the day so you have time to burn off those sugars. But that means if you do that, you're not going to have those higher carbohydrate meals at night. So you're starting to push into your fast a little bit earlier by having the proteins and fats. Choose which way you want to do it, but do it that way every day. Don't do carbohydrates at both meals or high carbohydrates. Allow yourself to start easing into the fast or easing out of the fast with proteins and fats. So fruit is good. You guys want to know what fruits are probably the best for helping address your insulin resistance? Anything that's high in fiber, but some of the best ones are going to be berries, especially darker berries. So blueberries, blackberries, high in fiber, lower in the glycemic scale because they're higher in fiber, high in nutrients and polyphenols. All of that's really great for you, right? But one of the best fruits that nobody really thinks about or talks about for insulin resistance is pears. And why pears? Wouldn't you think pears are really sweet? Maybe there's something I should stay away from. Well, pears are really high in fiber. They rank up there with fruits. So now you're getting that sweetness, you're getting that all of that, but you're getting the fiber that's helping you digest those or stave off the fructose and the glucose. But there's another thing in pears that really works well, especially older ladies. So the doctor said you should not eat any carbs. Lily had a hysterectomy. Okay, there's another chemical that our body produces in response to glucose. That's amylase. When we're small children, we produce a lot of it because we're trying to break down that sugar. We're trying to grow. And that's when insulin should be really high in our body. And so our body's trying to get quick energy and break down the sugars and get them out there. That's amylase. But especially in women, that amylase starts to build up. When you get older like me at 61, now you have the amylase that's built up in your body. You have amylase in response to eating, and it's creating a quicker breakdown of sugar. There's an amylase inhibitor in pears that helps you slow down that quick breakdown of sugars while you're getting fiber that's helping slow down the delivery of the sugar. Okay, but pears, just remember pears. There's also a bean that can do a very similar thing, and that's navy beans. I have been finding navy beans really hard to find. Don't know why. I'm going to try and figure out why navy beans are all of a sudden not out there anymore, but it's not garbanzo beans. It's not it's the little tiny white beans called navy beans also have the amylase inhibitor in them. If you can have a quarter cup of those about 4 times a week, that will help. All right, so stop sugar and sugary drinks. Absolutely. When you're having sugary drinks, fruit juices, sodas, all of that, what you're getting is like somebody sticking an IV in your arm and shooting sugar right into your bloodstream. There's no fiber in them. And a lot of those can have inflammatory responses in the body, which is causing cortisol problems and more insulin problems. Stop all the white powders. Stopping flour and sugar changed my life. Lily, yes. So interesting story, you guys. I'm going to share some personal stuff. You make pear vinegar. Amazing, Lily. That's such a good idea. But when you make the pear vinegar, it's probably changing that amylase inhibitor, and it's also changing that you're not getting fiber in that vinegar. So I love that you're using pear vinegar, but eat some whole pears. Okay. Peaches. Oh, peaches. I don't know why I said poaches. Peaches are good too. But here's the thing, you guys. Let's talk about peaches. I'm 61. Peaches used to be about the size of this, right? That's what a normal natural peach looks like. Okay. Before it got modified by our food industry, before we started genetically modifying it. Now, the peaches that you're talking about, Lily, are probably the size of our fist. And let's think about that. How did it go from this size to this size? That's a big difference, right? They took the fiber out. So now peaches are sweet and juicy, and it kind of drips down your face when you eat it, and you love it, and it's a little bit satiating, but it's going to spike your blood sugar more than pears or berries. Am I saying you can never have them? No. I'm just saying be careful with them, just like you would with all the bagged box stuff. You guys, I want you to understand that our foods are changed. Our foods are changed. Our foods are changed. It's not just that we're eating processed foods. Even our raw organic foods have changed. They're covered in glyphosates from all the chemicals that we use to keep the bugs away, and we've stripped the fiber out. And now, because we don't rotate crops and yada 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 yada, that's a big long subject. Our fruits and vegetables, okay, are 40 to 70% less dense in nutrients than they ever used to be. Non-GMO and organic help tremendously, but unless you know that you're getting heirloom seeds, almost everything that we get today is GMO. Okay, so understand that just buying from the organic part of the store may not be enough. Is it a step in the right way? Yes. We're going to talk about how all of this ties in, and I'm getting there right now. You guys love the interaction today. Thank you guys. So look, this is what I do. It's a simple system. And this is how I lost 55 pounds, reversed my IBS, my hypertension, my neuropathy, edema, all of the things, 20 things on my list, got off of 13 medications, right? So I have a tea in the morning. You guys have been seeing me sip on it. There's actually, I put both teas in here. I'm over halfway done. This tea is called, it's a yerba mate tea, but it's called Unimate. And I'm going to go over it in a second. You guys, I have ADHD. As much as I mean good, I will forget stuff. If it's not straight in your face, I will forget it. Pumpkin's probably a better source. Curry soups, yeah. But again, I'm gonna talk about the products, but I want you guys to understand this. Any pureed soup, fruit smoothie, fruit juice, you're breaking down the fiber. You're not allowing your body to break down the fiber and utilize it like you want it to. So the fiber is already broken down when you get it in your system. So yes, enjoy them, but don't make that everything you eat. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So for me, because of my ADHD, I just mix my 2 tea in one big mug, and then I carry this around with me and I sip on it all day. I'm drinking lemon today. It tastes like a lemon iced tea. My favorite one, unfortunately, it's going away, and they'll probably give us another flavor soon, is apple spice. But we also have a great matcha. This is the system that I use, so I don't want to get confused. Remind me to come back and talk about some blends with the tea. So all you're doing is you're starting your day with this tea, and I'm going to explain why in just a second. And you're going to ditch the coffee, you're going to ditch the sugary drinks, you're going to ditch all of that. You're going to give your body a break from eating. The tea, by the way, is helping you shut down those hunger cues. Your brain is not hungry, your gut is not hungry. It's 11:22, so I am 15 hours into my fast. Yeah, Lily. So just don't do blended soups all the time, right? Try to get some more whole foods in there so you're not breaking down the fiber so much. And pears can be really great because they can be softer. And we'll talk about our matcha in just a second. Apple juice is something I don't drink. You guys, I don't drink alcohol a lot, and I really don't drink it at all now because insulin resistance did such a number on my liver, and I just don't want to go back there. But apple juice is going directly to your liver, and it's putting a load on your liver, and you're not having fiber to regulate it, and it just causes a whole other array of problems. I will try to talk about fruit juices and like the liver later this week. Okay, and I will announce it. You guys, sometimes I kind of shoot by the hip of my pants, depending on what you guys need to hear. All right, so the tea. It does not break my fast. Cannot chew. So Lily, can you do boiled eggs? That you're a very unique situation. So that would apple vinegar. So apple vinegar does a good job, but I'm going to tell you, this is spiking your GLP-1. You guys all know those medications everybody's talking about that keep your weight off and all this stuff. They were developed as a diabetic drug in a very small dose, and now they're giving them in huge, massive doses to get people to lose weight. Yes, you can have apples, devout Lutheran. Yeah. Better choices would be pears or berries, but yes, apples are fine. Just, again, don't overdo them. Now, the tea is spiking that GLP-1 glucagon-like peptide, a peptide hormone in your body by about 70% naturally. Those injections that you're getting, it's a chemical form and it's blocking the receptors of your GLP-1 because GLP-1 has to have a receptor on your cells. It blocks them open, and that makes your body go defunct over time. So with those medications, most people have to come off of them after 2 years. And there's all these other problems with gastroparesis, and they're starting to see load on the pancreas because they're forcing your pancreas to create too much insulin and all of this stuff. So a safer way that works with your body is to do it naturally. This does not contain a glucagon-like peptide. It contains all the components that allow your body to create glucagon-like peptide in your body more naturally. Okay, so it's a natural way to get your body to do the things that all these chemicals are trying to force your body to do. And I don't know about you guys, but one thing, I worked in medical for a long time as a medical assistant, and I was the person who drew your blood and did, relayed all the information from the doctor. But one of the things I know and have seen is that anytime we start forcing the body to do something, it goes defunct. We start to have problems. So we just want to support our body in doing what it's meant to do. And that's exactly what this does. So here's the thing. The tea also goes through a 5-step process. Our tea does. We hand pick it, number one. So you're getting the leaves, not the stems and all the other stuff. When they machine harvest it, you're getting everything. We're getting the leaves that are at the right time of ripeness, not too young, not too old, so that you can get the components out of it that we need to get you to affect your insulin, your hunger, your mental clarity, your wellness, all of that. This tea does all of that. Plus, they're highest in the nutrients that we need to get to our body. That tea has every essential nutrient that we need to sustain human life. Apple cider vinegar does not do that. Berberine does not do that. Okay, so this does. Now, there's a lot of science behind it too. There are scientific studies behind all that. We have studies with like the Cleveland Clinic, one of the top heart health hospitals in the world, the University of Sydney, one of the makers of the glycemic index. We have all of that. Niacin, that's a whole other topic, Lily. And although I'm versed in some of those things, that's really not where I'm at right now. So I love your ideas and you're doing the best you can. I would check with your physician on all of those. Now, most of us are deficient in niacin, by the way. So it's handpicked. We fire roast it. The fire roasting process just lets these chemical components that we need to be released from the bulk of that leaf that we're picking, right? Coffee is fire roasted. Most teas are fire roasted in order for you to get the benefits from them that you want. But guess what happens when you fire roast? You can absolutely use apple cider vinegar along with this protocol. You guys who are mentioning apple cider vinegar, please remember to dilute it in water. Don't just take a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. That can be way too harsh for your mouth. Dilute it in some water. You know what? I've not done it. You're gonna spawn me to do something. I might take a tea and put some apple cider vinegar in it and see how that tastes. I love apple cider vinegar. I just don't think it's the end all be all for everything that we need to do. It's a great add-in to keeping us healthy. Absolutely. So the tea is handpicked. It's fire roasted. Along with fire roasting, guess what happens? PAHs. It's a toxin, right? I'm going to talk about that in a second. But now we've released those chemical components that we need, and I'm going to go over those in a second, from the leaf. Then we extract all of that goodness, and then we concentrate it. This tea Not only is it packaged like this and you just mix it in water, so you're not steeping anything, you can have it hot or cold, and we have it in different flavors. It is concentrated so that it's up to 375 times as potent as a regular yerba mate tea. This tea is stevia, yerba mate, and some flavoring. Now, there's some components in here that are acting similar to what you're talking about, the benefits from lion's mane, and those are the saponins in here that are giving some of the benefits that like you're getting from lion's mane. Okay, so now that's the tea, and it's amazing. But here's the thing. Remember I said PAHs? So we hand pick it, we fire roast it, we extract it, we concentrate it. Fifth step, we take it to a lab in Switzerland that does this process called hyperpure. Now that's removing toxins. So remember those PAHs that people are so worried about, carcinogens? We remove those out. We remove out pesticides and toxins. We remove out molds. We remove out microplastics in this process called hyperpure. The other bagged teas, the steeped teas and all of that stuff you're getting in your coffees do not do this. And so even though you're trying to do something healthy for your body, you're getting all of that crap back into your body. That's why I love the tea so much, because it's doing all of this stuff. Okay. And we've taken a lot of care in doing this for you. Guess what? This guy who wrote this book and this book, and I'm throwing stuff around over here. Guess who helped develop both of these products? He did. Now, he still is on our council of helping us discover more ways to affect metabolic health. One of the top metabolic scientists in the world is behind the products that we do. Not just some, oh, shoot, they're talking about GLP-1, they're talking about yerba mate, we got to go create this, yerba magic, this whatever, we're going to sell it cheap and people are going to buy into it. And they're getting all the pesticides and toxins, and we don't care about making a sale. We care. We're a science company. So that's why this product, all right? Now, I'm not a professor. I wanted to be, I did want to be a physician's assistant, just to step under a doctor. Life hit me in the face and I wasn't able to get there. But yeah, I started those studies. So I love science. All right. Now, Unimate. It helps you feel great all day. This tea, it gives you a ton of energy, no crashes, non-addictive. Yes, it contains about the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee, but remember, no microplastics, no molds, none of that stuff, all right? So it suppresses your hunger and cravings by increasing your GLP-1 naturally. It's allowing you to use stored fat for fuel. So it's helping with the increase of ketones and growth hormone in a fasted state. It boosts your mood and mental and physical performance. Whoops, I got the wrong one. The tea can help increase physical performance by 10 to 15%. Think stamina, think endurance, think strength. Increase by 10 to 15% using the tea. So it improves strength and endurance. You guys, I can't see it that small on this one, but you're getting all of those benefits from this tea. And this is why we're going to talk about some of the components of it. There are chlorogenic acids in this. Chlorogenic acids are that thing that Dr. Huberman talks about in spiking your GLP-1 and helping you feel satiated and all of that. 375 times more potent in this tea than any other standard bagged yerba mate tea. Okay, what the chlorogenic acids do is they help with antioxidants in the brain, but they're also promoting feelings of well-being. So think, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm having a grumpy time in life. This helps return that to, I feel good about life, I feel happy about life, life feels hopeful. That's a wellness thing, right? It also supports healthy blood pressure. It helps support healthy glucose levels and helps you being more insulin sensitive, which leads to more weight loss. So now this one component is giving you this increase in satiety. It's helping your blood pressure. It's helping you burn fat. It's helping you feel happy. And guess what? When you're happy, you're not likely to overeat so much. Have you guys noticed when you're sad, depressed, anxious, you eat more? Well, when you have this tea at this high quality, all of that starts to get better too. Okay. So And it's 375 times higher in this tea than any other tea on the market. Okay. So I'm going to type that in here for you guys. You guys on TikTok, the link is in my profile. If you want to see some of the other things I offered, like the um, proteins list and the other book, it's all in the link tree or my landing page on TikTok. I just dropped it in to Facebook, YouTube for you guys. Okay. So theobromine is one of the other things. Now, these three things I'm talking about are called adaptogens, and this is why the caffeine in this works differently than the caffeine in your coffee or your Red Bull or any of that. Why it's not damaging you, but it's helping you be supported in health. Theobromine is that thing, that component in dark chocolate that helps you feel really good, right? That ooh, ah feeling, that's theobromine. And guess what? The highest quality dark chocolate is where you get that feeling. This has 3 times the theobromine as the highest quality dark chocolate. Now, can you imagine having a dark chocolate and the tea? You're cruising, okay? But these adaptogens also help mediate the effects of caffeine. They balance it out. So if you think of a balancing stick and you see somebody walking a tightrope and they got this stick and all of a sudden caffeine is plumped over here and the stick is turning this way, the adaptogens help balance that back out so it's more level energy, more equalized energy. But theobromine also supports healthy blood pressure and cholesterol and helping you feel better as far as wellness and happiness. Then we look at mate saponins. Okay, this is the saponins part, not mate saponins, are part of what's working so well in things like lion's mane. So they're specific to the yerba mate plant, the mate saponins. What they do, they're helping support healthy triglycerides and the body's ability to burn fat. So OG caffeine likely makes you feel jittery or shaky, like your stomach. Let me see what the rest of your comment says. Like your stomach shakes because they don't have these adaptogens. You're drinking coffee and you're drinking Red Bull, and that's where you're getting your caffeine. And so now that balance stick is way out of whack, and your body's like overstimulated, and you get all this energy, and then it crashes. That's regular caffeine. The caffeine in this is so different that the locals who harvest it call it morphine, for mate caffeine, because those adaptogens balance it. Now you get energy without the jitters, the shakes, the crashes, all of that stuff that you're talking about. Now, if it makes you feel, maybe you start with 1 tea a day. I drink 2. Again, I mix mine in 40 ounces of water and I sip on it. That's how I stay full of energy all day. It's how I make it through all the tasks I'm doing in a day. It's how I keep up with my grandchildren, like my little 8-year-old who's running around and wanting to sword fight and do all the stuff all the time. It's not because of coffee or Red Bulls that are making you sicker and making you more insulin resistant. This is helping you have steady, high energy and mental clarity. Okay. So, and this isn't something we've added into the tea, you guys. This is naturally occurring in yerba mate. So, Messi, you guys know who Messi is? Anybody know who Messi is? Right? Their soccer team, football team, flies in tons of yerba mate to their competitions. They're getting the traditional yerba mate drink. But we also have athletes like Shaq, like Vladdy Jr., like some NFL players who use this tea because it's helping them feel good, helping them keep their lean mass, and helping them perform better in sports. Crazy stuff. Okay, that's the Unimate. But there's also the triterpenoid saponins. The triterpenoid saponins are the ones like in your mushrooms and your lion's mane. Okay, so they support your human health benefits, including your overall cholesterol. Okay. So those 3 adaptogens, saponins, theobromine, chlorogenic acids, and he relies heavily on yerba mate, but this is just a really like octane fuel form of yerba mate that still is very natural, sweetened with stevia. Just added a little flavor so that you guys will want to drink it. Okay. The second component, I talked a lot about this first component. You're going to have 2 of the teas in a day. And by the way, in the protocol, you're getting 60 of these teas. So you have enough for 2 a day every day during your month, right? You can have it in the morning. You can have it in the afternoon. If you're highly sensitive to caffeine, I would wait. I wouldn't have it past 3 p.m. I drink it in the evening. I was up playing Fortnite with my kids last night, so I was having some tea. Fasting doesn't break my fast. Was a better alternative than sodas and all of that. I still slept like a baby, woke up full of energy. Okay, that's me. I've been doing it for 4 years. When you start, maybe only have 1 a day. Don't drink it past 3 p.m. if you're highly sensitive to caffeine. Yeah, my grandson, he loves, oh, I gotta set this. TikTok is wanting me to verify that it's me. There we go. So can you trust the website? Yes, you can. So I'm gonna give you this, OG. The company's been around since like 1903. These products have been each around since about 20 years each. I haven't even gotten to the second product. About 4 years ago, they were like, you know what? If we combine these two, we really can affect insulin resistance. So nobody's heard about this much because we just really started combining the 2 products that have had the science and stuff for 20 years. About 4 years ago, we put them together in a system, and we're continuing to study and perfect the system so that you guys benefit. Okay, I love Fortnite too. So the link is above. Let me put it in here again. Uh-oh. You guys, I really love, if you could go to my link tree. I've created something different because I want to serve you guys better. So it's going to explain what the system is and the cost. I'm going to go over it now, but that will help you. And then you get to make a choice. If you're ready to buy, just go to the company website. By the way, you're not buying from me direct. You're going direct to the company. They fulfill it. They deliver it. They give you a 90-day money-back guarantee, a quality guarantee, and a satisfaction guarantee. Okay? So you get all of those from the company buying through their website with my link. You get a discount from the retail cost by using my link. When you use my link, you get the same cost that I pay for it. And that's about $5 a day. All right. So Unimate, you can have it. When I had it last night, you guys, I don't want to drink lemon all day, every day. So I did add some flavored stevia drops into my Unimate last night. So it changed the flavor profile a little. I watered it down a little. You can do all of that. You can stir cinnamon in with it. You can have it hot. I'm definitely going to try it with apple cider. Oh my God. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try that because you guys kept asking about that. But yeah, you can do all of these things. You guys, when I have had tests, when I've sat in learning seminars, when I've done all of that, with my ADHD, I will fall asleep because now my brain is focusing on one thing and it's like, this is not enough for stimulation for me. But the tea also, the whole protocol helps you with the balance of dopamine and serotonin through the pathway of insulin sensitivity. I've had 5 to 6 of these in a day, not had any adverse reactions like staying up all night, any of that. So it's natural, it's healthy. You guys will love it. I've had so many people who said, oh, I'm food addicted. I can't do my intermittent fasting. They get this day one. They're like, Misha, what the heck is in this? I haven't even thought about food yet. So there's that. All right, I'm going to move on to the second component because it is a system. Yes, you can buy either one of these separately. So I buy the system and then I buy extra of this next pre-meal part of it. So this is just water. You don't have to add all the other stuff. I'm just saying, if you want to change up the flavor profile, do that. This is just water. And it tastes like a lemon iced tea. This one has like an apple spice taste, and it's amazing. So it comes in lemon with a hit of ginger, or apple spice right now. And you'll find all of those on the link that I put in here, okay? So, all right, I'm going to show you this. Now, the second part is this pre-meal drink. There's 4 proprietary blends in there, 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers, and they're patented. There's science behind them. They actually work. Both of these products are listed in the prescriber's digital reference. So somebody's asking, is it a pyramid scheme? Bleh. Pyramid schemes don't have a product behind them, especially one that's not backed by science and is so reputable that it's in the prescriber's digital reference. Nope, not a pyramid scheme. Okay, so 4 patented blends in this pre-meal drink that are designed to affect your metabolic health, and here's how. It is primarily fiber. There's phytonutrients. There's a lot of other things in here. But what's happening with this is it's doing this. When you eat, and our food today, we don't have all the fiber in it. We mentioned that earlier. Your glucose spikes, right? And as your glucose spikes, your insulin spikes. Now, when your insulin spikes, it blocks you from burning fat. It encourages storing fat. And it stimulates that fat storage, but so you're not burning fat, you're not getting rid of fat, you're storing fat when your insulin is high. That's what happens when you're not having fiber beforehand. Now, this helps reduce that. I'm showing this because some people will have this effect of hypoglycemia, where their blood sugar drops really low. And what's happening with that is you've allowed your blood sugars to spike really high, no fiber. You're allowing your insulin to spike really high. Insulin is panicking and it's the carrier for the energy, and it's delivering it to your fat cells, into any cell that will take it. And now you have this disparity where your blood sugar dropped really quickly because insulin knows you're going to go out and have a snack. You're going to go out and eat again. And you have this hypoglycemic space where you get tired and you get jittery and you get cold. That's what's happening. I can describe that better this afternoon. Okay. But balance helps balance that out. So when you look at the top of this graph, you're having those blood sugar spikes. No balance, not enough of the right kinds of fibers. Every time you eat, you're spiking your glucose, spiking your insulin. Remember, insulin takes longer to come down. The higher it goes, it doesn't come down quickly like blood sugars. What balance is doing is stunting that spike. So your blood sugars don't spike as high, which means your insulin doesn't spike as high, which means it can come down quicker. And there's been a lot of studies behind that. So yes, it works. Now, in the balance, one of them is this Biosphere proprietary formula. Now, what it is a unique blend that helps, that has 5 different sources of fiber. Okay. The soluble fiber, they still help support cholesterol levels, slow the conversion of high glycemic carbohydrates. By the way, they're high glycemic because they're not wrapped in fiber. And so that slows down a blood sugar spike. That's one of the blends in there. But we have a couple of more fibers in there. Then we have the 7X technology, which is the combination of these viscous and so soluble and insoluble fibers. Now, the viscous portion of this forms this thick gel when mixed with water. So you drink it before your meal, right with your meal. It's going to thicken up in your gut. It's going to help you so that you're not feeling so hungry all the time. It's going to help absorb those sugars and slow them down from entering your bloodstream. And now you start to have a better gut microbiome as well, because they're also prebiotics, which are feeding the good microbiome in your gut. So, but not only that, then we've added this cardio matrix, which helps with, and by the way, the tea has components in it that help balance your heart rate as well. So low heart rate can come up, high heart rate can come down, naturally supported, real world food. Okay. So the cardio matrix is just plant extracts and phytosterols that help support the body's cholesterol absorption process. And that helps reduce your cholesterol levels. Okay. So now we're affecting your blood sugars. Now we're slowing down your insulin. Now we're helping your cholesterol be more normal. We're helping your heart be healthier. But we also add in this full panel of vitamins and minerals that are there to support your metabolism. Vitamins and minerals that scientists have figured out that your body needs to support metabolism. All of that is in this pre-meal drink. Is it Benefiber? Is it Metamucil? No, it's not. It's so much different from that. And so that's why it works. Beyond that, We have studies with more than 2 to 3 times the amount of what I am able to show on this here, but we have studies with Johns Hopkins Hospital, the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Association, the Cleveland Clinic, the University of Sydney. It's listed with the Cologne list. It's listed with safe for sport, so not popping you on a drug test, super safe. Taking antidepressants and secretly taking. So antidepressants, I cannot diagnose you. What I can tell you is this. What I've learned over the last 4 years as I've taken care of my own health, because I used to have severe depression, is that there's a neural pathway problem when you have insulin resistance. The problem is, instead of addressing the root cause of why we're feeling depressed, anxious, overwhelmed, we're just being given medications to help those symptoms, but they're not saying that your blood sugars are out of whack. So if you want a more natural way to take a look at your depression while you're working with your doctor, I would recommend the system. All right. Any questions, you guys? This has been wild, and I'm so tired right now. I've been talking my rear off for over an hour. But look, somebody's asked about fruit juices. I've said it multiple times. We know that fiber is important. I want you to think about this. Fruit juices have vitamins and minerals, but they've been stripped of the fiber that helps slow down the fructose that's overloading your liver. So fruit juices should be out, just out. Okay. You need fiber when you have those sugars from fruit so that it doesn't damage your liver. Part of the reason we're seeing an increase in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is fruit juice, because we're giving our kids so much fruit juice. Now we're seeing kids as young as 6 years old diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver. Direct relationship to fruit juice. There are no side effects. The only side effects, you can look it up in the prescriber's digital reference. The biggest side effect with the pre-meal drink is that your gut's not used to this level and quality of fiber. And so in the beginning, you may experience some gas and bloating. Drink lots of water, get some exercise. Your stomach is going to get stronger, and that's going to go away. It doesn't interfere with other medications, but absolutely work with your doctor while you're titrating off of other medications and starting this system. Okay. So just stay away from sugary drinks, you guys. That's really causing a lot of problems. I do want to talk a little bit, because somebody asked, is this MLM? Look, we have our own global manufacturing facilities. We have distribution facilities in 50 countries throughout the world. We're operating now in over 60 countries throughout the world. We have passed all the regulatory approvals through all of those countries, including Health Canada, one of the strictest in the world, including being able to be listed in the PDR, a third party source. So it's real. This is not just go tell your friends this, go tell your friends that. We're really changing lives around the world. It has a 90-day money back guarantee. Okay. It has a quality guarantee. And what that means is that when I tell you that it has certain amounts of components, they test it before it comes out to you to make sure that it's meeting those standards, or the product doesn't go out. There's no high fructose corn syrup in this. And yes, stay away from high fructose corn syrup. Okay, so I have some good questions. You guys, we're about there anyway. You guys, when you use my link, I'm gonna get to your question, Yasharth. I don't know how to see your name right. You're getting all those guarantees, the money back guarantee. You have access to me. If you go to Amazon, eBay, Walmart, you're not getting any of those guarantees. You're paying way more, and you don't have access to me for answers when you have questions. Okay, so please honor us both and do that now. Yes. Okay, so multi-level. This is network marketing. If you see that it's helping you, and just like you go to a new pizza place and you're like, oh, yo, brother, sister, mom, dad, best friend, there's this pizza place that's really amazing. You should go try it out. That's all you're doing, is you're telling people that you found something that's really working for you. And for doing that, when they purchase, you're getting a $10 credit every month they purchase, and help your friends out in getting better and taking their health back too. There is a way on the backside of it to make money. I can talk about that later, and I would love to because I'm trying to affect more people across the world. So now let's get back to the what do you eat? Okay. You missed the part where I talked about prioritize protein and don't fear fats. Fill up with fats. So guess what? If you're low in body weight, getting protein and fats in can help you put weight on. If you're high in body weight, reducing those carbohydrates and getting protein and fats, it stabilizes you. Okay. It's not like, oh my God, I'm going to eat proteins and fats and I'm going to get way too skinny. No, your body's going to stabilize because you're giving it the right foods that it needs to build on. If you're eating only 2 meals, breakfast and then the other within 8 hours, this is what I do. When I'm done with this and I break my fast, I'm going to go fix some eggs and maybe some sausage. I've had eggs and steak, maybe some avocado or guacamole thrown in there. Maybe I'll throw in some pico or something if I feel like it, but I focus on proteins and fats the first meal. My second meal, yesterday, you guys, I made my version of chicken tortilla soup. So those navy beans and black beans and chicken and carrots and tomatoes and all this stuff in this. And then I make my own taco seasoning. So not a lot of sugar. Okay. But there's a lot of carbohydrates in that, right? That's fine. You know what I'm going to do when I have my soup this afternoon? I'm going to have my pre-meal drink, and that's going to help me regulate my blood sugar spike from those extra carbohydrates. Still has chicken. I put some sour cream in my soup. I put some avocado in my soup because I wanted the fat levels up. I put some bone broth in my soup. I put some chicken broth in my soup. All the things that I talk about, that's in there. And by the way, it tastes pretty freaking yummy. Do you have to eat like a boar? No. But I'm going to give you guys another solution. When you start eating better and your body starts to get rid of inflammation and you start to understand how your body's really meant to feel, when you go out to those fast food places and you get a hold of seed oils and the extra carbohydrates, you're going to feel sick and you're going to understand how bad those foods have been for you. I'm not a Puritan. I still have stuff, right? I still do some of the things. I had Skittles when we had family game night the other night. I just have the fiber beforehand, helps stunt that blood sugar spike. Okay. Side effects of antidepressants. I am not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. Again, if you want to look up the side effects of antidepressants, you go to the prescriber's digital reference online and look it up. Have your pharmacist or your doctor counsel you on that. Okay. Um, all right, you guys. So again, you can download those resources, what proteins to eat, the 6 simple steps. If you want to order, please either DM me if you can't find the link or go to the link. And if you want to have a further conversation with me, guess what? My WhatsApp, so it's encrypted and you guys are not at risk, is in there. You can text me and start a conversation and we can talk more. I love to do that and help people out. All right, but I'm tired and I'm hungry now, and I have to come back in 3 hours, or I'm not going to say I have to. I get to come back in 3 hours and give you guys a little bit more education about insulin resistance and what it is, and all of that this afternoon. So if you guys have something you'd like me to talk about at 3 p.m. during the weekdays, Monday through Friday, let me know what those things are, and I'm more than happy to do the research so you don't have to and come back and talk about it. And in the meantime, I'm going to go break my fast with some eggs and sausage, and I will see you guys at 3. Thanks for joining me today. Have a good one, you guys.